Come the wedding day, the maid of honor was making mimosas for everyone and asked me if I wanted one. As usual, I declined. Drinks were given throughout the day, but I always said no whenever offered one. Eventually, when all the bridesmaids were getting ready, one of the other girls asked me if I didn't drink at all, and I said yes. That prompted a few of the girls to ask why what the comments say. Okay. A good tip for anyone reading this: if you want someone to do you a favor, don't be intentionally cruel to them. And T.A., I would not feel bad for him experiencing a consequence for his actions, and I would need a real apology before even considering meeting him again. Favors would be off the table indefinitely, regardless. And then that's not your friend, not your bro, not your buddy, not your pal, not your guy. That was a low blow, and he cost himself money with that comment. Drop that person from your life. Okay, and let's go to the last story. Am I the a-hole for being blunt and saying I would never name our child after my wife's sister, since she is a spoiled brat? My wife and I are expecting our daughter in a few months. My wife, I will call her Nora, has a younger sister, Rebecca, that everyone in the family is overprotective of. I am not a fan of Rebecca. I find her to be a spoiled brat that will cry to mom every time she doesn't get her own way. I find her to overall be rude and entitled. Nora's family babies her, and to be honest, at 22 she should not be throwing a fit about not getting what she wants. One example of this is that she had a mini meltdown at her wedding because her shoes were the wrong color. Not even by a lot, it was just a different shade of white. You couldn't even see the shoes since the bridesmaid's dress was long enough. So about 30 minutes before we were gonna get married, she was crying and everyone had to comfort her. Anyways, we got dinner with my wife's family this weekend, and during dinner, Rebecca said it would be nice to have a niece named after her. I shrugged it off, and the dinner went on like normal. When we got home, my wife sat me down and told me she wanted to name our daughter after her sister, that she brought up how much it would mean to her sister. I told her no. We have a 2-year